Oh man, I think I've finally found the clubs that can replace the #1 struggle that I've had in my golf bag over the last 3+ years. And if I'm really being honest, it's been a struggle for the last 20 years. So let me start with a confession. I have not been able to hit a 3-wood. In fact, I'm so bad with it, I almost never carry it in the bag. For the last 2 years, I have played with 13 clubs in my bag when I'm playing casual rounds because I don't even want to give myself the temptation of a club that I just do not feel confident over. Now, it was not always this way. In fact, I used to be really good with a 3-wood. I would consider myself deadly accurate with a 3-wood. But that was back in the late 90s, early 2000s. I used to have this club. I believe it was a tailor-made, maybe a McGregor, but I'm pretty sure it was one of those tailor-made Pittsburgh Persimmons. It was actually a club my father had won at a golf tournament. It was the first metal wood he had ever had in his life, and of course the first metal club I had ever seen. Off the deck or off the tee, it didn't matter. I could always count on that club to get me 200 to 220 yards dead straight every single time. And no club lasts forever. I played with that club for probably 10 years, but eventually the shaft wore down. The club had lots of nicks and scratches and dings from all the places that I took it, and it was time to make a change, and I've never been able to replace it. I had a Callaway X-Hot for a while. I played a Ping G425 a little bit more recently. Earlier this year, I had a Docus Design Reloaded Plus in the bag. All amazing, fantastic clubs that a lot of people can hit really well, but not me. Not me. I've not been able to get my mojo back with a 3-wood, except I think I finally found the club to do it, and I'm super excited. You can probably hear it in my voice. Let me show it to you. And it came from a very, very unlikely place, Tacoma. This is the Ignis 3-wood, 5-wood, and 7-wood from Tacoma. We're gonna be taking a look at them here today. These clubs have a number of surprises that I'm gonna show you throughout the episode. And Tacoma makes a very big, bold claim on their website. They say that these clubs are designed to be the easiest, fastest fairway woods you'll ever hit. Now, do they deliver? Well, we're gonna find out. That's why we go out here and we test clubs. But if they do, if they can live up to that statement, they're gonna go straight into my bag this season. And in fact, one of these clubs could go into your bag this season as well because I'm giving one away. On February 29th, I'm gonna be hosting a live stream. I don't do live streams too often, but we're gonna be doing it on a brand new platform for me, one that a lot of creators have been using and really enjoy. People like Stacked Golf here on YouTube use it as well. It's called Whatnot. It's kind of like eBay meets a live stream. So literally items are going up for sale and people can bid on them in real time, and they happen really, really quickly. These auctions happen in like 10, 20, 30 seconds most times. It's pretty crazy. It's fast and furious. It's a lot of fun. Well, I'm going to be giving away a number of items, things I've used here on the show, and we're also going to be auctioning off items that we're going to donate to youth golf. So we're going to raise some money for a good cause, and we're going to use a really exciting platform to do it. I've got a link below so you can RSVP for the live stream. It's going to be February 29th at 8 p.m. Eastern, 5 Pacific. When you register for Whatnot using my link down below, you're actually going to get $10 credit, so you can use that for your first purchase. Really fun platform. Check it out. I'll see you hopefully at the end of the month. Here's a look at the 3-wood, and the first surprise for me here with the Tacoma Ignis is just how premium looking these clubs are. When you think of a direct-to-consumer brand, you think of cheap looking, cheap feeling, cheap materials. This is not that in any way. This looks very, very high end. Up top, you've got a carbon crown. This makes it very lightweight, and you've got a steel undercarriage here. So all of the mass of this club is towards the bottom. That should help you get a little bit more lift, and we'll see how easy it is to get balls up in the air with these clubs. You've got a 20-gram weight back here, and this is actually the second surprise for me. Not only did this come with the 20-gram weight fixed to the back of this club head, but it also came in the package with both a 15-gram and a 25-gram replacement weight that you could swap out if you really want to tune in and dial your trajectory and shot shape with this particular club. Another part of the adjustability that I found to be very surprising with these clubs is the adjustable loft here in the hosel. You can go up or down 2 degrees, and while many of the main manufacturers will do that with a 3-wood, it was really interesting to see that with both the 5-wood and the 7-wood in the set as well. And here is that 5-wood. The face on this club is going to be a little deeper, and what I really like is it's very deep there towards the toe, because when I miss a shot, that's where I miss it. I miss it towards the toe. And in fact, you can see a few marks there where I've swung this club even out on the range. And here's the 7-wood, and I'll tell you what I really love about this it's not too draw biased. Sometimes you see a 7-wood and to me it looks really, really closed or shut at address. This doesn't, but it does retain that really nice deep face. It's still pretty big. It's a big profile, I would think, for a 7-wood. And hopefully, again, that leads to more forgiveness. And they all come with this really high quality, super nice feeling head cover. I know the head covers really aren't a big deal, but they kind of are because it just speaks to the quality and the time and effort put in to developing a product. And these, they're first class. Now, there are a lot of holes here at Carrollwood Country Club, short par 4s where I'd rather have a 3-wood as my weapon of choice off the tee box. And this first hole here is actually one of them. So we're gonna hit 3-wood here. We've got some water on the right that comes into play about 250, 255. And my driver can absolutely carry it if I'm over that side of the fairway. I wanna keep it left if possible, but more importantly, I wanna keep it short of the water. Let's see if we can execute here. 3-wood in hand. And of course, I'll be measuring the distance as well because I gotta hit 225 and up for this to really make sense. Let's see what happens. Well, that's the right side of the fairway, and that is where exactly the water would come into play if I had a driver. But I think with this club, we should be just fine, although I'll say it has some pop. It has some extreme pop, and I hit that not exactly dead center. I hit it right here, just a little toe side, maybe a little higher up in the face. Boy, that got up in the air nice. And the great thing, at least down on the range, that I could feel is that I could take a full swing. And I've been holding back on my swings a lot here with 3-woods especially because I'm trying to steer the ball. So it hurts you in terms of distance and it hurts you in terms of rhythm. Yes, that's the one. And when you get it right, it feels good. It keeps you in the game. That looks as far as a lot of drivers I hit out here. I've got my Garmin S70 here to measure it though. We're gonna find out where that landed. So 225 plus is kind of minimum spec for me in terms of distance on a cold, dewy day like today. But of course, you know, 235, 240 on those dry days is where I'd like to be with a 3-wood. That would be it would fill a really nice gap in my bag between my driver and 3 hybrid. And if I do end up adding the 5-wood, you know, hopefully that would be about the same as my 3 hybrid. So let's find out where these things landed. We got one ball up here left side of the fairway. That was a really good strike and just as far, and it wasn't as good a contact off the club face, maybe a couple of yards less, and we just rolled into the first cut here by about 8 inches. As we can see, our distance up there on the Garmin watch, 214, and over here is the one that I hit really on the screws. Excellent shot here. Actually kind of found my way into someone's old divot. And there we go, we're right where I wanted to be, basically. 223. Great angle at the pin. And I took the water out of play. That's what we need to do. So that initial 3-wood test validates a couple of things for me. First of all, that I feel much more confident with this club. I can take a full swing and not feel like I have to steer the ball and hold back. That's so important to me. Number 2, it validates that on off-center hits, this is still a very forgiving club. Yes, I lost about 10 yards of distance, but it was not offline all that badly. In fact, if the fairway would have run straight instead of cutting back in, we would have been in the fairway on the right-hand side hit. So those were 2 great first things to look at. We're gonna come back to distance here with the 3-wood because that is important. As it dries up, I wanna continue to test that. But what I wanna test now is take out some of these more exotic woods, at least for me, the 5-wood and the 7-wood, and see how they perform. I'm standing here with 5-wood in hand. I've got 205 actually from these blue tees, and I'm actually gonna hit this one off the deck. We'll see if we can get the distance. This is the distance I need out of this club. And ideally, we're gonna get some nice high penetrating ball flight on top of hopefully a straight shot. Now I've noticed with this club at the range that the ball position needs to be a little bit more forward than the others. With the 3-wood and with the 7-wood that I tested on the range, I can be a little bit more central in my stance, but here I need it to be a little bit further off the front foot. Let's see what we do. Oh my goodness. That's like absolute perfection. Is it enough? We're gonna have to go find out. 204 to the middle of the green. I believe the pin's in the back. Wow, let's go find it. Well, it looks like we just barely missed that green, but luckily the accuracy was good enough. It was dead on line on this pretty narrow little landing strip that we avoided the bunker. And in fact, this ball rolled back down. Again, this just speaks to the conditions out here. It has rained a little bit. It's very dewy out here. And that ball actually backed up. In terms of distance there, 184. Could that have easily kicked forward and gotten me right on the green on a dry day? I think so. One thing I guess we'll have to test is the spin. The spin of these. They do seem like they're rising, which leads me to believe that the spin number is pretty high. I don't think I've ever seen my 3 hybrid actually back up though. So that was really interesting. There's a little bit of a crown there with that green, but that was kind of funny. All right, I really want to put these clubs through the paces. So around here at 185, there's a very difficult shot where I got to cover a ton of water. There's also a bunker right, bunker in front, and the green drops off pretty severely on the left. So not a lot of room to miss here. We're going to go 7 wood with this 185 shot. Again, this is a club that a lot of people will replace their 3 or 4 iron with potentially. Let's see how we do. I'm going to go off the deck here, as you can see as well. Oh, wow. So high, little baby draw. Is it going to cover? Yes. In fact, it's over the green. It's over the green. So talk about some pop here. That club had it. And I'm kind of scared here to hit a second shot because we're just going to find it past the green, I guess. We probably hit that 195. Got up in the air super simple. Now, the other thing I'll say here is that with a shot like this, I found with these clubs, I like to play it pretty much where I'd play a 7 iron, which would be a little bit more central in my stance. That's where I seem to like this club. Shot 2. Oh yeah. Almost a carbon copy of the first shot. That was even a little bit closer to hitting the flagstick, and it probably carried by a good 10, 15 yards, and then it rolled out some more. So we'll see exactly how far those things ended up. But wow, it's incredible how easy these clubs are to hit. And I don't play 7 woods ever. And for me to be able to just pick up a club and hit it that well, that's exciting. All right, coming up on the green here, here's our flagstick. Here's the back of the green where this second one rolled out. It landed right about here. And that's 186 to this point where it landed. And it rolled down just a little bit further to 187, so great distance there. Here's our second one, even further. We've got to 192 there. All right, great distance is something we all want, but something that lower handicappers want in particular is the ability to shape shots. Can you move this ball left and right or right to left on command? That's what I'm going to test here on this shorter par 4. It's a dogleg right where it really favors a fade. That goes against my normal shot shape, but we're going to see if we can pull it off. We'll see how workable this 3 wood is. Pretty darn straight. Right where I aimed it is where it ended, but I will say hit that one towards the toe, and that probably prevented me getting that spin. So let me take another one here. Again, just want to see if we can move this ball left to right. Just a little bit, just a little bit. I would say this is a very straight club. Great ball flight. Again, great trajectory, great ball flight. Not a ton of movement though. One more. Yeah, it's just like a little power cut there. Kind of started central, probably ended right side of the fairway. So of all the shots, that had the most movement. So when it comes to golf clubs, you've got really forgiving on one side of the spectrum, and on the other side of the spectrum, you've got really workable. That's kind of like a blade versus a big giant cavity back. That's how things work. And it's the same thing with the woods as well. So I would say these Tacomos, they're definitely on the more forgiving, easier to hit side. They're not going to be uber workable. That's probably going to be a good thing for most golfers out there. But if you are one of those lower handicaps, you may be opting for something just a little bit different, or gives you the ability to shape those shots just a little bit more. But for me, listen, I'll take center of the fairway over a big giant power cut any day of the week. Here's where our second ball rolled up to, and yeah, now we're starting to see that distance I was hoping for. That's 233, and again, dead center of the fairway. All right, a little later in the day, a little drier. Let's see if we can really push the distance here with the 3 wood. I'd love to see 235 out of this club. Here we go. Oh man, that's just spectacular. Spectacular. I might run out of fairway there. I'm gonna hit one more. That looks so good and high in the air. Just a little baby draw like I like. Oh, it's so pure. Yep, these are going in the bag. Let's go find out how far they went. And after this hole, I'm gonna share with you my ratings, including some of the pros and cons I see with these woods. It's been a full 20 years since I could hit a ball like this and be in this spot. This is driver area almost. Holy moly, 244 on the GPS there. Oh, that's a thing of beauty to see. But there's one even longer up here. We're in the rough because we're actually out of fairway, but as you can see, I've got a little wedge into this green. Oh my gosh, 259. As always, I rank clubs on 5 criteria. The first one is distance. These get a full 5 out of 5. And if I had 6, I would give it 6 out of 5. You can see I'm hitting it as far as any 3 wood I've ever hit. Second category here is going to be forgiveness. 5 out of 5. These things get up in the air so easy. On miss hits, I'm not losing a ton of yards and I'm not spraying it all over the place. I'm so happy with what I'm seeing right now. Next category is workability. This is the one place where I think these clubs fall short. But again, that can be a good thing because when a club isn't workable, it's more forgiving. That's what these clubs are. So for me, these get a 2 out of 5 in terms of workability. In terms of aesthetics, these are a full 5 out of 5 again. Boy, they can compete in terms of looks, feel, and sound with any of the major manufacturers, and they're gonna be a fraction of the price. I love that. Speaking of price, next category is value. I'm giving it a 4 out of 5. These things are fantastic value at $259 a club. When I first saw them, I was like, kind of high for a direct-to-consumer club from a brand that you can get a full set of irons for $489. I thought that price was just a little high, but then I looked at the big manufacturers. All of their clubs are up around $350 and higher, so we're a full $100 less than those basically. So very good value from Takomo, 4 out of 5. Here's the score up in the 80s. That's a very strong score for me. And if you need that distance and that forgiveness, that's really what counts. And that's why these clubs are going in my bag. Thank you, Takomo, for sending these to me to test because I'm keeping them. Well, except for that 7 wood, I'm going to give that one away. Make sure to catch that live stream. And again, I've got the link down below if you want to win the 7 wood from this set. I hope you enjoyed this episode. Here are a couple others you'll enjoy. If you did, I'll catch you back here next time on another edition of Let's Play Through.